But I think the reason why they're doing it is because this generation is a microwave society. How can I make so much money quick?
I agree with that, but I also think we're also getting into an area where football has become a poor person's sport. It's just the way boxing used to be, that it's a way to get out of a difficult situation in life, that you're going to see country club kids and richer kids and kids from better neighborhoods not playing football because it's too dangerous, but it's a way out for a lot of kids who are maybe come from a neighborhood that's not so great.
Well, yeah, and just to add to Tom's point, I mean, how many times do we hear about these kids, you know, Warren Sapp, you know, you saw the house that he and his mother grew up in, and the fact that he said, okay, you know what, I'm leaving the dirt. That's what he called it. He called it the dirt. And, you know, he wanted a better life for him. He wanted his mom to not have to work.
And every one of us, if you had that opportunity to play, and it has nothing to do with should we have known the health risks or not. Everybody would do it. If I could have done it, I would have done it.
We all would have done it.
Exactly. And I think all we're asking for is that they be taken care of as far as their health. They're not asking to get rich.
And a lot of it too is the fact that a lot of fans don't see what these guys are going through later on in life. They don't see the debilitating effects of some of this. I mean, we see guys now in their 30s, 40s, they look healthy, but in 20 years, forget about it.
You know, you're right, because we were out there at the Hall of Fame and Warren Sapp was doing his media thing. He said the same thing, Booger. He goes, man, no, I put my mama in this big, beautiful home. We had a dirt road. No, I wouldn't change it.
But you saw that Hall of Fame, Rock, all those guys walking up there with walkers and canes and crutches.
Look bad. Bill Parcells.
You can't walk anymore when they're 50
How about
years old.
Parcells' speech? He goes, you know what I wish they would show? On the plane ride home, when these guys are laying down, cramping up on the aisle, they got the IVs going in. I mean, that was reality. All right, well, up next, we're going to get to the college game. Will Muschamp, Florida Gators, 0-3 against Georgia, facing a lost season in Gainesville. Things are a whole lot brighter in Tallahassee. College football straight ahead. This is the Press Box. And welcome back to the Press Box. All right, let's take a look at Will Muschamp. All right, 13-9 record so far. SEC play, third-year coaching the Gators. Ron Zook. You remember what happened with Ron Zook? All right, he was 16-8 in league play in his 3 seasons in town. Muschamp's record against ranked SEC teams, 3-8. And as you saw last weekend, 0-3 against rival Georgia. So let's swing it on to Booger McFarland, played at LSU, so much of a supporter of SEC football. Does he deserve to continue coaching the Florida Gators, Booger?
I don't think so. And here's the reason why, Rock. You go from Tebow to Leak to Warfel to Spurrier. I mean, all the great offensive personnel that the Gators have had. And now you bring in Ron Zook 2.0, known as Will Muschamp, and the offense is struggling. He brings in Brent Peace to be the offensive coordinator. Somewhere he lost the playbook between Boise and Gainesville. And so when you look at this Gator team, they are a shell of themselves offensively. They're trying to play physical, tough defense. But in SEC, you got to score. And he's struggling to score, and it's a continuation year after year. And if he doesn't get the offense going, in my opinion, it's time to get Will Muschamp out of here.
Yeah, you know what? Booger's exactly right. I get a feeling that Gator Nation, they would rather lose games 45-42 than win them 10-7, because they're all about the offense here. I think, though, the problem that Will Muschamp has had is I don't think Urban Meyer left a whole lot in the cupboard for him. I think Urban Meyer checked out the last couple of years. And can you imagine, in a state of Florida, you can't find a quarterback and you can't find receivers. You walk down the street and you're going to bump into a quarterback somewhere. And Florida has not been able to get those guys. I would give him another year to see if he can recruit some playmakers. But if it doesn't work out, it's time to go.
Jenna, Laine?
You know, I had a problem with this hire from the get-go because of the fact that, Florida offense that was their identity. I mean, they were flashy. They were electrifying. And you saw the speed. They had Tebow. They were just so dynamic. And then they went with this defensive guy from Texas, and I'm just like, well, huh? But no matter who came in, you knew that this guy was going to be walking into a hornet's nest. I mean, you've got 2 SEC championships, 2 national titles. Nobody can jump in there and replicate what Urban Meyer did. And so I think that, but still, regardless, there is a standard that is there at Florida, and it has not been met. And I just don't think that this fan base, not with the boosters that they have, not with the money that's going into this athletic program, they are not content with mediocrity.
The other problem he happens to be in the best conference in the country. I mean, you have to deal with Alabama and LSU and South Carolina and Georgia and now Missouri and Texas A&M. It's hard to find wins on this.
And then on top of that, think about this. He's the 4th best team in the state right now. Florida State, Miami, UCF,
right.
and then the
Yeah.
Gators.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
biggest issue he's having
Yeah,
right
and
now.
I know that hurts our USF girl. Now,
No, and that's an honest assessment,
yeah,
though.
No,
It's
that's
an
good.
honest
Okay,
assessment.
other side of the coin. Now, Booger on 98.7 The Fan, you've been calling the ACC the American Cupcake Conference. However, you have been giving them their due, Florida State. Can Florida State make it to the national championship game? Are they that good this year, Booger?
They're that good, not because of Jameis Winston. They're that good because of the defense. Remember, we've seen this great, high-flying, redshirt freshman quarterback, Johnny Manziel. We saw that last year. But the reason Texas A&M didn't go anywhere, their defense. This year, Florida State has a national championship-type defense. That's the reason they can be successful. It has nothing to do, Jameis Winston may win the Heisman, but if they win a national title, it will be because of that defense.
Wow. That's from an SEC guy.
They're going to play for the national title because either Oregon or Alabama is going to lose a game. I think it's
so.
going to be Oregon that ends up losing a game. And I think they're going to get their shot. I just don't know how good Florida State is. I was impressed with the win at Clemson. That was impressive. I don't think Miami was that good. Miami's not the 7th best team in the country. And before this is over, they're going to play a Gators team that might be as bad a Gators team as we've seen seriously, in 50 years. So I don't know that Florida State's schedule is all that great, but they're going to go undefeated and they're going to play for a national title.
I keep looking at Oregon Stanford. I think that's going to be. I think if Oregon's going to lose a game, I think it's going to be a Stanford. I don't know why. I keep
And
looking
Alabama
at
at Auburn. Watch that game
Ooh,
because
right.
it's at Auburn. Watch that game.
Ooh.
Should be
All right,
interesting.
coming up, final rants. I can't wait from that from our panelists. Plus, we're going to tackle some of your Twitter questions. It's all straight ahead on the Press Box right here on Bright House Sports Network. Welcome back to the Press Box. Now, this is our first show, and if you're watching, thank you. You can interact with this show. It's every Monday night, 11 o'clock on Bright House Sports Network. You can send us your Twitter questions via Twitter. It's very easy. Twitter at BHSN and hashtag it PressBox, and we could end up debating them on the show. All right, don't look now, man. Going into this week, the Tampa Bay Lightning, can you believe it or not, first place in this new Atlantic Division. Let's start with you guys. Tom, I know you covered hockey for a long time. I know it's early. They might have a goaltender. Is this a fluke? Can they contain this?
Can you ask me again in about another month? Because I saw this story a year ago when they got off to a great start, 6-1. This one feels a little more real because I think the goaltending is better than it was a year ago. And I like John Cooper. Maybe he's rubbing off on these guys. But I'm give me like another month to wait to make sure that this is a real thing.
Booker?
You got a coach who no longer predicates everything on offense. Now let's play a little bit of defense, not turn it over, chip the puck in the zone, go down there and dig it out, and let's make the game physical. Hockey is a physical game. And I think Cooper wants to do that a little bit more than Guy Boucher, who's all about the style and the points and the goals and all these different things like that. Let's make this a physical game, and they're starting to do that right now without losing the offense. That's been the real key.
Well, two things stand out for me. One, you guys already mentioned the goaltending, but also the fact that you've got Martin St. Louis and Steven Stamkos. They've combined for 32 points offensively. They're getting some help from some other guys. But I have to say this, just given the way Tampa Bay sports teams have played so far this year, mainly the Bucks. I know the Rays. They just. I'm just waiting for a letdown
USF.
at some point. Yeah, exactly. USF. I'm trying to be optimistic, but at the same time, I just feel like there's.
Kicked in the head too many
Yes,
times.
and I feel like that letdown might be coming.
All right. As my partner on 98.7 The Fan, Steve White, he loves to call them rants. Booger's like, please don't call them rants. Whatever we're going to call them, it's your last and final take on whatever you want to talk about. Tom Jones, step it up. Step to the plate.
Well, here we go. We're right in the middle of football season, but another season about to crank up, and that's baseball off season. And in these parts, the biggest story is what the Rays are going to do with David Price. The Rays are going to trade him at some point because they can't afford to keep him long term. So the question is, do you trade him now or do you trade him when the season starts? More than a dozen teams are interested in him at the moment, and the feeding frenzy means his value likely is higher right now than it ever will be. If you wait till the start of the season, you run the risk his value's going to go down. He might get hurt. Maybe he doesn't pitch all that well. But if I was in charge of the Rays, I'd hold on to Price for the time being simply because I don't trust the Rays rotation after Alex Cobb. Even though Matt Moore won 17 games last year, I don't think he's an ace. I'm not sure yet anyway. Chris Archer, still a kid. I have no idea what's going on with Jeremy Hellickson. Until I'm more convinced that the rest of the Rays rotation is reliable, I'm keeping good pitchers I have, and that list starts with David Price.
Booger McFarland.
We started this football season looking for a Buccaneer quarterback. Josh Freeman, could he be the franchise guy? And then comes the season. 3 weeks in, we bench him. Put in Mike Glennon. All of a sudden, things are going to change. All of a sudden, we found our guy. Well, here we are, 0-5 later, 0-8 total, and we still don't know if the guy's a franchise quarterback. And everyone out there is starting to say, fire Schiano, it's time to get a new guy. For what? What's going to change? Are we miraculously going to win some games? And if we do win some games, what's that going to change? Yeah, 4-12, 3-13, what does that get you? It might get you the 3rd or 4th pick in the draft, but is that going to get you the franchise quarterback you need? That's the big issue. When has this town seen a franchise quarterback? Trent Dilfer? Doug Williams? When have we seen one? And we desperately need one. So when this season is over, there's only one question to ask. Who's going to be the franchise quarterback in Tampa? And if not, the answer, we might need to find one.
Ooh, Jenna Laine.
We've got some problems brewing in Florida in the NFL, and for once, doesn't have to do with the Buccaneers. Miami Dolphins offensive tackle Jonathan Martin had an incident in the cafeteria at the team facility a week ago and abruptly left the facility amidst allegations of bullying. And today we come to find out a teammate Richie Incognito, who's also on the offensive line, he was suspended for conduct detrimental to the team. The league is currently investigating this, and I'll tell you what, these reports so far don't look good. There have been reports stating that Incognito actually called Jonathan Martin, left him voicemails with racial undertones. So my question, though, is these guys have been teammates for a year now. Why are we just now finding out about this? You know, we talk about bullying, we talk about peer pressure. You think that that stuff is left behind in high school. We're seeing it now in the workforce with this team. But, you know, there is a such thing as peer pressure in a positive way. And I just have to ask, why did no one step up for this guy in the locker room? I understand there's a such thing as a rite of passage with these guys, but this is unacceptable for grown men.
Now, I'm gonna piggyback on your topic because I was listening to Booger, and Booger was saying today that as a player in the NFL, you don't let it get this far. Man to man, they take care of it. It would be physical, and usually if you hit a bully, the bully is not going to come back. But in the workplace, I was thinking about it today here. If you get a bully like that, and he's that bad, I was thinking back when I was a kid, when I was real little, and this bully pinned me down, and I let him do it. And then later, when I was in Pop Warner football, this kid was much bigger than me, and I went and I challenged him. And another guy in grade school, I tackled him, and I never had a problem with them. They were definitely bigger. But if you're in the workplace, you can't hit a guy because then he can sue you. So you know what I was thinking about? The only way to really do this, in my mind, is as a guy, if a guy's like this, let's go outside. Oh, a bully doesn't want to be one-on-one. Then you go outside and say, come on, hit me. You got the first shot. Come on, big man. And if he doesn't hit me, hey, you'll probably never have a problem with him again. That's just the way I see it. I know it sounds ridiculous, but really, when there's a guy and there's a bully, it can't be the coach, it can't be another player. You have to physically stand up to the bully. All right, we can follow you guys on Twitter. We appreciate it. It's Booger McFarland. He is on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fan with Rich Herrera, Booger and Rich in the afternoons. Tom Jones, early mornings.
Yeah, I got to go to bed.
This is Stroud on
my bedtime.
620 WDAE, and of course the Tampa Bay Times, and Jenna Laine, and that's sportstalkflorida.com.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next week on the show, we'll have another round of panelists with a round table. You got the Buccaneers Monday night recap against the Dolphins. We're going to be there. Warren Sapp, he's going to talk. We're going to record that. And also, ex-Buccaneer and Gator Brad Culpepper is in studio. Now, next week only, we're going to play this Tuesday night for you because, again, we got to wait to see what happens on Monday night, and I can't get any panelists because everybody is going to be at the Monday night game. So we really appreciate that. Every single Monday night at 11 o'clock now, mark it down on Bright House Sports Network, Channel 47 and HD 1147. Also, you can follow our website. A lot of information about the show, bhsn.com. My thanks to Booger and to Tom and to Jenna. You guys did great. And special, man, you were on the first show, the comeback, and the host.
Right, that's right.
All right. Until next Monday, have a good one from all of us here at Bright House Sports Network.